Because I think what you're doing is bigoted and hateful, and it comes from a pretty sad, pathetic place.
Well, why don't you come and have a conversation with me about it?
I'd like to have a conversation.
Yeah, come on in.
I'm not going to come any closer because I'm afraid I push you into traffic.
Okay, I can come to you.
No, I'd like you to just stay there.
Well, if you want to have a talk, I better come a little closer, yeah?
I'm quite happy to talk from this distance.
All right. So tell me, why is it that you want to sterilize kids?
I'm sorry?
Why is it that you want to sterilize kids?
I don't agree with the premise of the question.
Well, that's what's happening.
I don't agree with the premise of the question.
Okay. Why do you want to block puberty in children?
It's not blocking puberty. It's changing children's, not their biological sex, it's changing their hormonal balance. And it's done, at least in Australia, I don't know where you're from, I think you should go back there. It's done with the consent of mental health professionals, GPs. It's done with a lot of oversight. It's done with the backing of state and federal governments. It's fully legal. I don't know what your gripe with is it.
Well, if the government says so, I guess we should sterilize kids. Hey, Lois?
Yeah, that sounds about right. If they're not blocking puberty, why are they called puberty blockers?
Fantastic question.
I wouldn't know. I'm not an expert. Neither are you two, I'm assuming, given that you're both out here spouting.
Pretty expert on it, actually.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
What qualifications do you have?
Oh, you know, I've read everything there is to read. I've been
so
doing this
you've
4.5
read
years.
stuff, so
I work with
the more
doctors
I
and health
read-
professionals all across the world. I've read all the systematic reviews into the scientific literature.
Yeah.
You probably don't even know they exist. You should go read the CAS review as a start.
Right,
CAS
so I
review.
should read the things that you're recommending to me.
Oh, this was done by a pediatrician in England, 388-page report, done over 3.5 years, looking into all the scientific literature on this, and they found there's no evidence to support doing this, so they banned it.
I'd just say, I don't disagree with any of the scientific research that you're raising.
You don't even know about it.
Okay, well, that's why I'm not disagreeing with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I just say that being here and demonstrating in this way is quite hateful, and I don't think it advances any kind of genuine concern for children. I think it's just bigoted.
Do you think we should be able to have conversations about what seems to be a controversial topic on a university campus?
Absolutely, but this isn't a
then
conversation.
That's all I'm here for, is to have
This
conversations.
is a demonstration. This is deliberately provocative.
So if I stood here without a sign, no one would know why I was here, right?
But I'm not saying you should stand out on the street. Maybe you should have...
So what's the best way to have... You educate me. What's the best way to have conversations
I'm not
about
here to
this?
educate you. I'm not an expert either. I think...
So how would you
medical
recommend I have
professionals-
conversations about this?
I wouldn't know where to begin.
Okay, well, I think my method works pretty well. I've been doing it a long time, and it's been spectacularly successful.
Where? What?
All over.
Okay.
Canada, U.S.,
I don't think I'm going to
England,
convince you of anything.
Ireland,
You're not
Scotland,
going to convince
Australia,
me of anything.
Switzerland, Austria, Portugal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to say other than
All right.
I think I
Well, I appreciate you
disagree
talking.
with you, but I think the way in which you're disagreeing publicly is pretty apparent and
What do you
pretty
disagree with?
disrespectful. The manner in which, catchy headlines, children are born and never born in the wrong body.
Okay, so how is a child born in the wrong body?
What does that mean? Okay, I'll talk about it a different way. How would you define biological sex, and why is the changing of a gender wrong to you?
So we used gender as a synonym for sex for a long time, and I think that was fine. It was perhaps a more polite word for sex. But the word gender has really become corrupted, and it's come to just mean a feeling of what it means to be a boy or girl, a man or a woman, and that feeling is based entirely on what are regressive and sexist stereotypes. If you look at the most used resource in the world, it's this genderbread person. It's this cute little image of a gingerbread man. And it says right on there, your gender identity is based on your personality, job, hobbies, likes, dislikes, roles in society, and expectations upon you. Well, I don't think your role in society determines your gender. Do you? It's again, some little punk has come and turned off my video because they think they can distract from the conversations going on here. All they're doing is helping me because they're revealing what a censorious place universities have become. But tell me, how does your job or your role in society determine your gender?
I don't think it does. I think that's a pretty reductionist view, and I think that's
So
a
do I.
reductionist view that you share. Because
I don't.
You've got a binary view of gender and sexuality that's pretty disrespectful to people that don't fit within that binary view that you hold. Just because it's a view that you hold, there are people out there with multiple different chromosomes. There are intersex people that exist. I think it's pretty disrespectful to
I just
claim
told you that
just because of your belief.
I don't think we
two genders.
I don't think we should say that jobs and hobbies and likes and dislikes and roles determine our gender.
Right, but we should have two genders because they're distinct, and we should keep them distinct. Even though it's not funded by it's not backed by any kind of scientific research.
But hold on.
With
Let's
multiple
slow it
X
down a
and
second
Y
here.
chromosomes, there are intersex people.
Let's stay focused on one thing at a time. So we agree that your job and your role in society does not determine your gender. Why then does the most popular resource in the world say that's what determines our gender identity?
I don't know what you're talking. I don't know what you're referring to. I'd have to do my own research. I'm
Yeah,
not
this
sure.
whole ideology is based on stereotypes. It
What
teaches that a
ideology?
masculine girl is really a boy.
What ideology?
Gender ideology?
I don't know that gender is an ideology, and I don't think that anyone is saying that feminine boys, masculine women. My mother was she was born in the 70s. She grew up in, not that you'd know anything about Australia or anything that goes on here or anything that's relevant to us, but she grew up in the outer suburbs. She was a total bogan. She was a tomboy. She wore overalls.
Great.
She played footy.
Beautiful.
She's not a trans man because she doesn't identify as a trans man.
So
She's
what is a trans man?
someone that is born biologically as all trans people are people that are born biologically in a different body, which is so irrelevant to modern society. What your body is a different way to what they identify, and
So
how
what is
they'd
it
like
that
to
makes
be
a boy a
perceived
girl,
in
for
society.
example?
I think that's almost moot. I don't think either of those things exist.
Well, no. We have these boys now who say they're girls. We have girls who say they're boys. What is it that makes a girl
I think it's
a
just
boy?
a way to express yourself through pronouns or because we have structures in society like manners of dress, pronouns. I mean, it's not to do with biological sex, but sometimes it's about biological sex and a way to physically alter yourself to be perceived in a way that you wish, which is totally safe and medically backed, and it's a free society. And I'm sure you'd be one of those people that I'm not sure whether you're a Canadian or an American or
I'm Canadian.
You're Canadian, right? That's really depressing. I always
what
really
is
liked
it-
Canadians.
How is it that one expresses themselves as a girl? So I asked you, how can a boy be a girl? You told me it's about how they express themselves. So how does one express themselves as a girl?
I think it's
Sounds to me like you're saying there's a certain way to express oneself as a girl.
I think individually, sure. I think it's not specific to each person. Yeah, look, we've been talking. You're not convincing me.
This isn't for me.
You're just irritating
Don't do
me.
this for my benefit. Do this for the people watching.
Yeah,
Do this for the people watching.
Yeah, it's really nice.
What is it that makes a
What,
girl
your
a boy?
5 followers.
500,000, but yeah.
Wow.
Well,
Wow,
600.
you are just special. You are a special little
Well, no,
man.
I was just letting you know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I
I don't
feel
think
so
it's
much better
special. I think
having
it's very low, actually. I'm
Um,
disappointed with the rate of growth.
I mean, you guys who are watching, you're loved. We do love you.
Yeah, there we go. A message of love. I love it. That's what it should be all about. We should be teaching children they're beautiful just as they are.
I don't
That's the
think
message of
standing
love.
out here with billboards about how
Yeah.
trans children are somehow an abomination or are unaccepted in society has anything to do with love. I think you're bigoted people. I think you need to go back
Yeah.
where you came from. I think you need to reassess
Oh my God.
your life choices and your values. This is totally irrelevant to an Australian conversation.
Transsexual, I don't need to be fucking protected from anything.
Thank you.
It's a pretty good message. Yeah, I think it's just awful, really. I think everything that you're espousing is awful. I think you're the kind of people that want the government to intervene when it doesn't suit you. You're probably Christian nationalists. You probably love guns. But when someone tries to take your taxes, it's the government needs to back off. Because the government should interfere when it agrees with you, and it should interfere with other people's lives. They're just living how they want to live. It's totally legal. It's a free country. They're not hurting anybody. But yeah, when it affects you,
Okay,
it's
one last question for
just
you.
awful, isn't it?
What do you have to say to the detransitioners who've been permanently harmed and have deep regrets and say they were rushed down this path of medicalization when all they really needed to hear was the actual affirming message that they're beautiful just as they are? What do you say to these people who've been harmed?
I think it's a minuscule minority of people, almost none of whom are in some way disaffirming the right of trans people to exist. I think it's people that have, again, we're talking about a minuscule minority of people who have transitioned. More people regret having Harry Potter tattoos than people who regret transitioning. Are you out here with billboards, protecting the children from the Harry Potter tattoos? No, you're not. You're here because...
Yeah, I don't think children should get tattoos either.
Oh, where's that billboard? Is that billboard not here because this is more important, or because somehow trans people are an affront to you?
So children can't get tattoos. Isn't that interesting? But they can sterilize themselves with puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones.
You keep saying that, but I...
And actually, a child can get a tattoo if their parents give permission.
Oh, well, that's messed up. What age?
I believe it's 12.
Oh, no way. Not a chance. I don't believe that for a second.
I think you're using sterilization very liberally. Would you say, perhaps, I'm assuming your name is Lois, right? I'm assuming you two are married?
No.
No, you're complete, okay.
She's from London. I'm from Vancouver.
My fault.
She's here representing the Alliance Defending Freedom International, which is a legal organization fighting for parental rights,
Yes, I've heard
fighting
that.
for freedom of speech,
You have 2 children.
and
am I
fighting
right?
against the madness that is gender ideology. Yes,
Okay,
I have 2
sure,
girls.
You can keep spouting. You have 2 children. I'm not going to bring them into this. This is purely hypothetical. I'm assuming you have a nuclear family.
Mhm.
You have a wife.
Yes.
Were she to be in some way unable to have children, would she be less of a woman to you?
Well, of course not.
Okay, so why is it that when it comes to trans people, they have to be biologically able to have children, and sterilization, as you have repeatedly called it, is somehow, in a way, a mutilation or deliberate, or women who have their tubes tied, or women who have hysterectomies because of cancer.
Would you like me to answer your first question?
Somehow, I'm
So
still going.
you're comparing a woman who is naturally, for some reason, infertile with
What's natural?
giving kids drugs that sterilize them? You're
What's
comparing
natural?
that? You
What's
think
natural?
those are similar?
What's natural?
Well,
in
some
your
women
world?
just can't conceive.
What about
because
women
of various reasons.
who don't wish to have children, who have the tube side, who have hysterectomies because they've had. I mean, I know in my family we've had a long line of hysterectomies on one side of the family because there's I don't know what the word would be, a susceptibility
Yeah.
to cancer.
Sure.
That's elective.
Okay.
Does that make them less women because they're not breeders in your ideal world? Because
No,
they don't
I've
have children?
never said that any of these females, whether they've been sterilized because
Right,
of
so it's only
ridiculous
trans-
government intervention
So
and
it's-
because of this ideology or because of other means, I've never
There's no
said
government
any of them are
intervention.
less of a
It's-
woman.
I think that's totally a misnomer.
So are you
It's not
familiar with the
government
concept of a conversation?
intervention. Yes.
How does it work?
You interrupt me and have your talking points about hateful things.
So you go, I go, you
Yep.
go. Do you want to try that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Would you like to start again?
So your fallacies are fun and all, but you're comparing
I've got the fallacies.
You're comparing perhaps medical conditions where someone can't conceive to taking a perfectly innocent child, giving them drugs and hormones because they've been taught they were born wrong, maiming and sterilizing them. You're comparing these as though they're
How
the
is
same.
it taught? In what way is it taught?
What's been taught to you? Listen to yourself. Where'd you get these ideas in your head? Do you think these ideas came naturally?
Just, independent thought, logical thinking, having a brain. I'm assuming all that's hollow.
It was independent thought that taught you that children are sometimes born in the wrong body? What does it mean to be born in the wrong body?
that people can be whatever they want.
Well, they can't be whatever they want. There's such a thing as reality.
Clearly, you're so disconnected from that you're in a foreign country at presumably 60 years old. You look terrible.
49.
You look ancient. You look aged by your bigotry and hubris. Out here, look, I've said all I can say. I haven't convinced you. You haven't convinced me. I'd really appreciate it if you packed up and went home. I think it's quite hateful. I'm thankful that security and the police are here.
right,
I
are we
respect
done?
your right to free speech.
Oh, good.
I don't
Finally,
think
we
this
have
is
something
free
we agree
speech.
with.
I think this is hate speech.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. You absolutely don't know the relevant.
There we go.
I don't think you know the relevant legislation in Australia that deals with discrimination because you don't care. But I would argue that this is hate speech.
Okay.
And I'd really appreciate it if you went home, maybe reassessed your life values. I don't think you will.
All right.
But look, I've engaged you. I respect
Thank
your right
you.
to free speech.
Appreciate it.
This is not free speech. This
Good
is
chat.
hate speech.
Good chat. Have a good one. That was fun. Hey, how's it going, man?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Great. Great.
What do you think of this?